Okay, I've basically done a complete overhaul on how this down with the pickness is gonna start. I was thinking about it, from what you played and what somebody else is playing, and thinking that even though it sounds cool, sounds better to have palm mute accents, where some of it's palm muted and some of it is not. Maybe that's not the best way to get the down picking happening in the fastest way possible. So I have 5 different rhythms basically, and starts with just power chords. And the way these files are set up is, you got the starter riff or the pattern to max out, and then you have the non-repetition progression, and then you got it twice, then 3 times, and then 4 times. Drums are in there to follow along with if you'd like. Certainly more efficient, I think. Just do the metronome so you can just move it up, move it up, move it up. But of course, when you get to like the repetition stuff, maybe it would be more fun to have it with the drums. Just gotta make sure you set the tempo properly for each thing that you do. And so I got this 5 patterns, and you got 3 versions for each thing. So that's pattern 1.1. Pattern 1.2, it's got the single notes, so just one string, and everything is on the low E. So just another way to push things and develop things. And then you got pattern 1.3. So same rhythm, but now we're getting 2 strings involved. So go between the E and the A string. So recommendation is to start with this one and max out the first thing. Max it out. Just keep going until either you can't keep it up anymore or the metronome has run out of speed. Mine, the one I have up on screen right now, it ends at 320. But yeah, max that out, and then when you go to this, I would just drop it 20 beats per minute right away. Because if you truly maxed out that first little snippet, you're not going to be playing the full thing very close to that full speed. So yeah, I would max out the first part just to practice the pattern, really nail that pattern, and get solid with how the picking feels, and then go to the next thing, drop it 20 beats per minute, and give that a shot. Now what you can do here is once you play that, when you find a speed that works, well, let's say, how do you find that speed? So let's say you got to like 300 for the first thing, and you try this one, the highlighted part, at 280. So maybe 280 goes better than expected. We'll try 285. So increase the speed if you felt like you could go a little faster. If it was definitely a challenge, a real struggle, you're like, there's no way I'm going to go faster with it, well, that's okay. Just leave it there. If you can't play it at the 280 or whatever the 20 beats per minute decrease was, drop it 5 and try it again. And then just keep decreasing it until you get there. Another thing you could do is you don't have to drop it 20 right away. So you max this out, say again 300. Well, you could just try 300. And just after a few tries of it, you can't do it, then just drop it 5, try it again. You can just keep decreasing the speed until you finally reach a speed you can play that whole thing. And once you've got that, so let's say you keep dropping 5s and maybe get down to like 275. Like, all right, I finally got the speed where I can play it once through 275. Well, then you go to the twice through. And then try it at 275. You can't do it, just keep dropping it 5s until you can play it twice through. So you're basically, you're doing the sprint thing at first, and then you're gradually increasing the difficulty by increasing the length of time you're doing the picking. So yeah, let's simplify the whole process. Forget dropping that 20. This is the process. You max this out, whatever that speed is, that's what you're going to try and do here. Give it a few good shots, good, real good tries, and then just keep dropping it by 5s until you reach a speed you can play it. Once you do that, you move on to the next one. And until you can, try and play that twice through, keep dropping the speed by 5s until you can play it twice through. And then you move on to the 3. And then same deal. And then after that, yeah, just get where you can with that in like a day. And then move on to the next one. And if you, just be careful about pushing this. I would say like one per day. Like do this on one day and then go to this one the next day. That'd be fine because you're really going to be pushing yourself, physically. And then give this one a try so you get used to doing like the single string stuff. And there's a good chance that you will go even faster with that because you're only trying to play one string instead of the two. And then after you get through, all that for one day, do the 1.3 the next. And then after that, the next day you go to pattern 2.1. Now we're doing more picking in a row. We got a little bit in a row. So a couple more, really one more downstroke in the bar. But anyway, so it's going to start adding up there. Same thing as before, was 2.1. So the 0.1, just power chord. And then 0.2, we go into the single note stuff. And then 0.3, you start getting the two strings involved. And just do one a day. One a day. Make sure you're not, overdoing it and straining your hand or your arm or anything like that. So I got 5 patterns set up so far. So really 15 days worth of stuff. And just go through one after the next. One after the next. And obviously 15 days worth of stuff so far. I'm not expecting you to go through everything each day. So what you can do, though, is like when you're going for the 4 times through, maybe start recording then. And just record how many, get a good recording of the 4 times through for each one that you do. I think that'd be a good way to just kind of show stuff. Or, yeah, that'd be good. Just do that. And if you're playing along with the file, or however you want to set up the drums and you have Ableton, I think is what you're using. You could probably, it'd be safe to just play along with that and know that you're doing it right. But yeah, as far as recording and just playing it safe, just record the 4 times through, the very final step of the pattern that you do. And, you don't have to get through one every single day. If you need to skip a day for whatever reason, that's okay. But yeah, I'll send all those over so you can just start working through them one at a time. And then, fixing up the sweeping. And yeah, it would be good to just do them all again. But yeah, with the dominant chord, start with the middle finger. Same thing with the major 7, start with the middle finger. And yeah, still got the speed picking stuff to work on. And a bit of theory to finish. I think that covers it all. Okay. Well, any questions come up, let me know. And I will see you again. I know I didn't play anything, did I? That's a lot to go through there. If you want any demonstrations for anything, just let me know. But hopefully that explanation will get you where you got to go. Eventually there will be videos demonstrating and working it up for everything. But yeah, this is how the down picking training program is shaping out. They're shaping up to be. Eventually, palm mute accent patterns will become part of it. But because it is more difficult to go from palm muting to not palm muting, I thought, if we're really going to do a progressive overload approach where we start simple and just gradually make it more difficult, we need to save the accent stuff for later. All right, there we go. Any questions, let me know, and I'll see you again next week.